Hi everybody, welcome to Train with XTina. Today's session is all about the booty. So let's get real for a second. To even dive a little bit deeper into some of the most common exercises that you're probably doing as well as I am, the squat. And if I had a dime for every time I saw a squat done improperly, I'd be a gajillionaire. Why? Because a squat is definitely a functional movement, but it's a very hard functional movement to perfect. Every day our bodies change, they feel different, we have different injuries, the way we've slept, how we've trained, how we haven't trained, whatever it is. And our body will have these little quirks and tweaks that we're gonna have to adjust all the time. So I have a tip that I actually did in my class today, and I saw everybody do it, and I hope it helped. One thing I hear all the time is not only are we squatting improperly, it's the lack of glute activation, meaning I've actually heard clients tell me or say, or have asked questions about, I feel like I'm not properly activating my glutes. Now, most people, other than those that are training to be very specific and make sure that they do work, will probably encounter this problem at some point. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk through this really quick. So, the squat, okay, a traditional squat. You're gonna start with your feet, shoulders width, slight turn out of the toes. Now that is to accommodate the way that our pelvises are shaped, right? Our pelvises, the bones, are literally shaped like cups, like this, boop. So that slight turnout is gonna allow for two things. Watch this, okay? So as I squat down, making sure my knees are tracking right over my toes, okay? I take a slight incline forward with my chest. Here's why. At the very bottom of the squat, you should be able to draw two parallel lines like this. And they should be completely, perfectly parallel to each other. The first parallel line, the first line on top is your torso. The second line would be your shins. So check this out. Here's what it should hopefully look like, right? So knees over toes. And if you were gonna draw two lines, I'll even go sideways a little more, so you guys can see better. You should be able to draw lines that go whoop and whoop. That should be perpendicular or parallel. Now, a common reason why we might not be able to activate our glutes. We can very much fake it. We can fake a squat. We can make everything very much reliant on flexibility actually, and sitting or resting in the joint. Here's what I mean. Now I can squat for days, right? Like this. Now if you look at me from the side, what I'm doing is I'm taking my pelvis and I'm laying my pelvis on my quads. I'm right now in this position, just resting in my joints. Here's what I challenge you to do. Here is a tip that I learned from the squat master. That's what we called him at the gym that I used to work at Soho Strength Lab. Jason Lee, he taught me this trick. Take your two fingers, stand in your squat stance, put them where your hips and your thighs meet, right here. When you squat, try to keep your fingers from getting super, super, super pinched. What that does is it allows there to be a space here so that my glutes can actually activate. Now, keep this in mind. On the way down, when you're lowering down into your squat, right, my quads, the front of my legs are gonna help assist me in getting down. So that's a lot of times why people say, why am I feeling it in my quads? Why am I feeling it in my quads? You should feel it in your quads, but on the way up from the squat, right? Making sure you have that space between your hip bone and your thighs. You actually close and think of squeezing your glutes, your butt cheeks together like this. That action is what stands you up. Now, standing up perfectly straight at the top is going to support your trunk, your upper body. Now, I challenge you to try that squat challenge, because especially if you feel like you are not able to activate your glutes, that is a great way of practicing the squat or warming up your squat position to make sure you're using your muscles properly. Trust me. And I use this analogy. think of like babies. Babies are so freaking cute for a lot of reasons, but when you think of their tushies, right? A baby, as they're learning how to stand, right? They're literally like squatted down, right? They don't necessarily always have their heels down, but they do. Because as they start climbing their way up and they work their way up whatever they're trying to do to stand, you're gonna notice it is like the purest, most perfect squat you'll ever see. And that is why babies have the best tushies ever. It is one of the very first groups of muscles that start to develop so that they can actually start to stand and walk and function properly. Now, that muscle, those muscles, are responsible for standing you up. Now, I know this sounds boring, but it's very, very important. Why? Because how often we do these things and all these tiny little tricks and tips I know will help you. So here's what I want you to do. Take your feet shoulders width, slight turn out of your toes. Place your fingertips, your two fingers, your index and your middle finger, right where your hip and your thigh meet. Practice, give me 10 squats like that. See if you notice a difference. Chest is open, so I'm not looking down. I still have good posture. 10 reps like this. See if you notice a difference in being able to activate the glutes and being able to feel your butt. Once you've done those 10 reps, then take your hands here. Can you still activate the glute? Can you still make sure your pelvis is not sitting on your thighs at the bottom of the squat? Can you still squeeze your glutes coming up with your hands in a different spot? Once you can do that, then I say let's graduate to using weights. That's when you're gonna see growth. That is when you're gonna see maximal results, right? But you have to be squatting properly. In order to get deeper in our squat, Squat Master, that's where you push your knees open. You have to open up the space to allow there to be more space for you to actually squat, right? And then squeeze the glutes to stand. Now, that's the trick for the tip. The trick for the tip. The trick and the tip for today. Help me activate my glutes. And one more thing that will also help. Glute bridges. Very, 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 very much underestimated. It's called a glute bridge for a reason. Do not shy away from such a traditional and functional exercise. Glute bridge, million different versions, but traditionally, this one. At the top, actually touch your butt. Touch it to see if it's activated. Now, as goofy as that sounds, anytime you have or you've seen somebody at the gym, let's just use a stereotypical example, which I hate, but it's true. You know, you see somebody doing a bicep curl and they're going like this. You have to remember this, especially if they're a bodybuilder or they're a figure competitor or an Olympic lifter or whatever it is, and they're tapping the muscle. Arnold Schwarzenegger, actually, when he was training, would do that all the time. And the reason why is because it creates a neurological connection from my brain in through my neurological system, right, my spine, to my muscles that says, when I'm doing this motion, this is the muscle that I want to work. So if you're not feeling your booty work, grab it, okay? So you're in your squat, right? You've got your two fingertips. Do your squat, squeeze your booty, touch your butt to see if it's working. Touch your butt to see if it's working. But you cannot compromise the form, all right? Having that kind of connection is going to train your brain. Every time I do this, this is where I should feel it. And that will hopefully help regain the strength and the neurological connection so that the muscles fire. Anytime you do that from low to standing up erect position, you want your booty to activate, right? One of the biggest groups of muscles in our bodies. So, 10 squats with your fingertips and your hips. 10 squats with your hands here. 10 squats with weight. Weight. Do not shy away from weight. Weight is what's going to make your glutes more powerful and have a very quick and fast, powerful reaction time. For sports, running, right? Any kind of sport where you're gonna have to be changing direction. Literally any sport. So I challenge you and I encourage you to try it. Oh yeah, don't forget about the glute bridge too, guys. Glute bridge, stabilization for the glutes as well, or for your knees as well, all right? Okay, I hope this helped. A totally different style of a tip today, but let's get those glutes fired up and have a kick butt weekend. It is 100 degrees up here, so let's get out of here. Bye guys, get that booty.